How many of you want a stock or stocks that will go up 10 times? Well, probably all of you are raising your hands right now. But before we start, you need to smash the like button. It really helps with the Google algorithm. So one company that I started adding my position to, I believe it's called Amadeus, and it's a home healthcare hospice provider. They also help people stay in their homes. And what I like about this company is the earnings are quite spectacular. You might say, this sounds like a boring thing what they're doing, but think about it. People in this, if they're the leader in providing like hospice care and things of that sort, it's very expensive. There's a lot of money coming in, but not only that, but people tend not to really shop around once they're in this predicament. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of it. It's not like people say, well, I'm in this I don't know, hospice situation, I want to shop around. And no, there's not really competition in that. And when you invest in something, you want something where people are not very finicky with pricing, and you have a lot of opportunities to charge a lot of money. And unfortunately, this is something that costs a lot of money. Everybody always talks about it, but you can always be on the other side of the ledger and actually receive money. Now, before I go any further, I want to also mention, where did I get this idea? Because I'll admit, I did not just randomly come up with this stock just by throwing darts at a screen. The way I found out about this is through this website called Investors Business Daily, and they have a list. It's called the long-term leaders list. And basically, this list, they get this list from merging the two different kinds of philosophies: super growth, but also with a long-term focus. In other words, the focus is that these should be companies that can have a long-term, really high earnings and good return on equity, but also at the same time that you could pretty much hold them long-term. That doesn't mean you will never sell them. You might, if the conditions change. But with these kind of stocks that I'm listing, that could go up 10 times, but also you can possibly hold them for quite some time. I think it's a great list. Anyway, so let's go back to other stocks that I feel are on this list that could go up 10 times. Mastercard, return on equity is incredible. In fact, I think it's like 110%. I don't even know how return on equity can be above 100, but there it is. And the earnings are great. Some people say the PE ratio is very high, but I learned from IBD that the PE ratio does not matter. I know a lot of people in the financial community always say, oh, got to focus on that. But that's really not an important consideration when it comes down to growth stocks. Mastercard, think about if you want to be a competitor of Mastercard. Is it possible? No. There's really hasn't been any new competitors in the credit card industry. One can maybe bring up PayPal as a possible kind of competitor, but at the same time, PayPal uses the credit card companies. Then, of course, I like Visa as well. It's another dominant credit card industry. It's not going anywhere. It's almost like a monopoly because it basically, Mastercard is its only competitor, and they also have very good return on equity, very good earnings. Another one that I personally like that went up a lot is American Express. I bought on the dip last year, and even though it has a little bit of a different philosophy than Mastercard and Visa, because Mastercard and Visa only make money from the swipes, but American Express, they do make money from the swipes, but they focus on wealthy individuals who also carry balances. So, but as a result of that, it means that these people are not likely to default either, unlike traditional banks where they're loaning money to just about anybody, when the credit risk is a lot higher. Whereas American Express, their customers are not likely to default. Another company that I think it could go up 10 times from where it is Shopify. Now, I admit, I made videos about Shopify, and I was no good. I failed at it maybe I think twice already, which is pretty funny if you think about it, because I really try my best, but Shopify was really just not quite my thing. I think I didn't really understand the market that I was going for, and maybe I didn't even have good products, but that doesn't change the fact that Shopify is still a really, really awesome company. And I actually do hope that one day they will kind of defeat Amazon. And why do I say this? The way it works with Amazon is that when you have the products on Amazon, Amazon's getting a cut for every day that your merchandise is in the warehouse. You're losing money every day that's in the warehouse because Amazon's charging you for that. Then they take you a big giant cut on a commission when you sell, and then they load it up with other fees and even like penalties if you didn't comply with all the rules. And so that's a ridiculous model, because you kind of just rely on the fact that people are lazy, they go on Amazon, they search. Now Shopify, they allow you to, for like $30 a month, someone could create an incredible store, but then they have to do all the work to get the client. And Shopify doesn't actually get much of a cut in terms of the commission when you sell. Maybe some credit card fees possibly. I don't even know about that. But other than that, like one of the cheapest plans is like $30 a month, and this allows for mom and pop individuals to create stores literally from scratch, which I think is pretty awesome. And what I like about this is that I don't think we even know where exactly the limits of Shopify are, because I think at some point in time they may even get into like the warehousing and stuff like that, like Amazon has, but maybe offer it at a cheaper price than Amazon, or maybe just compete very heavily in terms of shipping and trying to get things out as possible. So I am definitely a big fan of Shopify. It could go up 10 times. And of course, I did mention PayPal earlier. Of course, PayPal can go up 10 times. The earnings are great. Return equity is awesome. And not only that, but I could see that there's becoming more and more massive adoption of allowing PayPal to buy goods and services from individuals. A lot of people have been shopping online, and how do they check out? They oftentimes are using PayPal, because that way you don't have to provide your credit card information to like a stranger and some merchants site. So I think PayPal is definitely a great long-term hold. I don't really see any serious competitors from what I've seen to PayPal, so it does look as though it does have a great moat to prevent competition, which I like. And then another incredibly great stock that I think that will do well long term is Adobe. Think about Adobe. Like for like $10 a month, you get to have access to extremely powerful software like Lightroom or Photoshop. You could pay more for other things. A lot of people are getting into YouTube. They have all kinds of programs that allow people to do special effects and things like that. The fees are pretty reasonable, and the subscription model is really an awesome idea that Adobe came up with, because in the past they would sell someone like a software like $99, but then maybe someone wouldn't upgrade for 4 or 5 years, so that really created an unpredictable revenue stream. Whereas by making it so people have to pay a subscription to use Adobe, it actually is absolutely brilliant, because it just keeps the money rolling in on a predictable level. And the earnings have been really accelerating on Adobe. And think about it, does anyone have anything quite like Photoshop? It's just like definitely the leader in terms of photos and ability to manipulate photos, like Photoshop, Lightroom, things like that. And so I definitely think that's another great choice. And finally, I've mentioned it before, if you're into just getting a monthly, maybe you need to have a alternative source of income, some predictable revenue stream, some dividend that comes in. There's realty income, although I may be reducing that position a little bit, because I want to put more of the money into some of the more of the growth things. But if you like something that is pretty stable long term, they actually have really high quality corporate tenants, and most of their tenants are not competing with Amazon, and there's like non-discretionary purchases like a Walmart or things like that. And also I really do believe that long term they will continue to increase their dividends. So if you need a source of income in order to pay property tax, HOA fees, or some predictable expense every month, it's a great stock to have. Now, this is the one stock that probably will not go up 10 times, though not anytime soon, but it actually does tend to outperform the S&P, I believe, too. Anyway, I really do hope that I was able to answer your questions about what is likely to go up 10 times. Subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.